Hi folks, John with the Wingman 115 channel. Thank you so much for checking in. I'm out here on location today. I'm in northern Arizona, about 15 miles north of Sedona, out here in the high mountainous regions. I thought I would take this opportunity to do a quick video knife review for you folks. Now this knife is the Tops Cochise. Now, if you're a history lover like I am, you know that Cochise, the Indian chief, used to run along the southwest area of Arizona. Well, this knife was named in his honor. I thought this is no better place to do a knife review than right here in Arizona. So, as always, first we're going to cut away. I'll do a quick tabletop specs rundown, and then we'll do some practical application, and I'll come back and I'll give you some final thoughts on this blade. You're not going to want to miss it, folks. It's beautiful up here. Come along and join me. Let's get her started. Let's try a chop test with this blade. Now, this is about an inch and a half limb on this blowdown. Seems to be a lot of them up here. They get some high winds, it looks like. Man, I can really smell the resins in there like it's fat wood. Pretty cool. So you got a little bit of resin in there. You can really smell it. It smells awesome. Let's see how well we can do a tent stake point with this blade. The way the coating's getting dirty, it looks like they've had a fire up here recently. I'm sure up here at elevation, we're about 7,000 feet. I'm sure they get lightning strikes all the time. Well, that's chopping a tent stake. Let's see if I can find a piece of wood where I can do a feather stick. Let's see how well we can do a feather stick with the Cochise. It's just doing those onion skin thin curls. Just finding that sweet spot. And it just loves doing feathers. You can just see them rolling right off this blade. Now, I've not touched this edge. This is a factory edge, straight from Tops. For these video reviews, I do not modify the blade. I want you folks to see it just right out of the box. But look at that. Just awesome curls. Beautiful. Now, the Cochise has a pretty robust pommel on there, which would make a nice little hammer, or if you're processing wood or these pine cones or whatever you might need to do with it, bushcrafting task, campcraft. The cool thing about how far it protrudes away from the actual handle is that the pine cone isn't hitting me in the palm of my hand. There's a nice area where there's a little bit of room in between there, probably about 3/4 of an inch. Or if I need to crush stuff down, always being careful of the sharp edge of the blade. My little public service announcement. But yeah, does a great job. Now for some final thoughts on the Tops Cochise. As you saw, it chopped pretty well. It made feather sticks. I mean, just the onion skin, paper thin feather sticks, just outstanding. I like the way the pommel was able to crush that pine cone. It worked very well. My hand was out of the way, as you can see here. I've got 3/4 of an inch, close to an inch, and you could use it as a hammer if need be. I like the scales, and I like the unpolished micarta. The great thing about that is as your hands sweat, they're gonna get more tacky and grippy. So they're just gonna season very nice. My only critique on this is this. Just the overpronounced jimping on the top here and here. It's not a deal breaker for me. It did give me a good solid grip when I'm using this blade. But for a lot of folks out there, you're wearing gloves. So, I mean, that's not a big issue. And I know the bushcrafters are going to say, John, it doesn't have a 90-degree spine. For me personally, that's not a deal breaker, because when I'm not reviewing blades and I'm out here actually camping and doing stuff, I really don't use the spine of my knife for scraping. I have an axe and I have saws for that sort of stuff. And as a kid growing up, I mean, we never thought about using the spine of our blade to scrape ferrule rods and to do things like that. It just was something that we didn't do. I know the modern trend now, because popular YouTubers are doing it, is to have a knife that does that. But I mean, this is not a deal breaker. I love the old school design. I love that hunter's point. It has just enough angle, like I said earlier, to where I was shaving those paper thin curls. It just worked really nice. This would make a great hunting knife, a great camping knife. I'm not going to say a great bushcraft knife, because the guys are just going to tear me up in the comments below. But campcraft, fieldcraft, hunting, it's awesome. The Kydex sheath works really well. You get a positive lock. My only critique on here is I'm not a big fan of the steel clip, but that's not a deal breaker. What I would like to see on future ones is maybe going to their thermoplastic clip that they have. Works really well, and something that'll fit a 2-inch belt, or maybe even just a piece of Kydex there as a Kydex belt loop would work really well. But I understand that folks might want to carry it scout style, or if you're left or right-handed, you want to spin that around. So you're probably wondering if I'm going to rate this on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. 1 being that it's going to the boneyard. 5 means that it's a grand slam. For me, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I like the design. I'm just a big fan of that. And here's the chance where I want to take a moment to talk about this. This is an older blade in Tops lineup. And I know that a lot of us are out there looking for the latest and greatest and the newest. And I want you folks to take a look at some of the older stuff. You know, there's always new and improved, but old and lousy work pretty well. And I'm not saying that this is lousy. I'm using that as a metaphor that there's some great designs out there, and Tops has a lot of designs in their lineup. Give them a chance. Take a look. Look through their catalog. They have hundreds of different profiles of blades. If you fancy the Cochise, I think that you're really going to like it. It's a great knife to have out here in the woods. I saw a sign up here because I'm up about 7,000 feet. It said, watch out for elk, and I got so excited. I've been looking around as I'm driving through the woods, just wanting to see a bull elk. That's like on my bucket list. So you never know. On the drive home, if I happen to catch that, I will definitely add it to this video. Well, that's enough of me babbling. This is just a short video review of the Tops Cochise. Look for a 6-month or a year update on this blade. I'll let you know how it's working out for me. And leave comments down below if you have questions, if you have concerns. If you're not a subscriber, hey, what are you doing? Take the moment and hit that subscribe button. Be part of the action. We're doing a lot of great stuff on this channel. Great things are lined up for the summertime. Follow on social media, all the links below. As always, I thank you so much for being part of the channel, watching, commenting, interacting. It's awesome. Until the next time, folks, I will see you. This is Wingman out. Now it's time to get out here and play a little bit. Take care.